like Tron on your dad punks. Niggas still hurt when the plaques come. Get murked with a verse when I rap bun. Put you on a shirt up in pack, son. Never did it for the money, only passion. Niggas laughed at my fashion. Been an innovator, so I passed them.
Welcome to the Poundcast, Brent. That song we were just listening to is Star, the A$AP Ferg remix by Machinedrum, featuring A$AP Ferg, Tenorel, and Monopoly.
And
why did I play that song at the beginning of this?
Tell me why.
Tell me why. Because Machinedrum is our guest today. Tell me why. He is our special guest, and we talk to him and have many laughs. Yes, Machinedrum is our guest today. We had a great chat with him. And what else, Brent? What else do we have to say?
Well, what we have to
get into it.
Well, what we have to say is that we have a sponsor, okay, and it's a sponsor that's cool. You know, sometimes people have lame sponsors. Let's just be honest. You know, you listen to some of these podcasts and they have these kind of lame. I'm not going to say who, you know, or
we don't want to say who, but we know who.
There's lame sponsors, but our sponsor's cool, and we're proud of our sponsor. You know, and
in fact, I've been approached by many uncool sponsors. I don't want to say who, Brent, but I will just say one of them rhymes with Monday, and it's a car company. Okay. Okay, fine. Hyundai approached me. They said, "Will you sponsor our cars? Well, can we sponsor your show? We'll give you $200,000 each episode." I said, no.
We'll give both of you, the hosts, 2 cars each.
And we said,
well, we got a cooler sponsor, and
yeah, we kind of already have one.
We said we thought about it, and we love the offer, but we're gonna have to pass.
That's what they said. Tell me why. I said, look, because we're already sponsored by LouisvilleVeganFoods.com.
And we kind of think it's a good look for us.
Yeah, we don't need another sponsor. Plus, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/poundcast. And we have some subscribers there. And those listeners get to listen to the bonus After Dark bonus content already. But I digress. We'll get to that later. But I said, we already have LouisvilleVeganFoods.com. And Hyundai says, his name was Henry Hyundai. He goes, what's that? And I go, LouisvilleVeganFoods.com. You don't eat Louisville vegan jerky? And he's like, oh, yes, I do eat that. I say, where do you get it? He said, Whole Foods, Sprouts, places like that. I said, you're playing full price? Why don't you go to LouisvilleVeganFoods.com, use the code word Poundcast.
He said, wait, ho. You mean I don't even have to drive a car anywhere? I could just buy it from my home?
He said, I was going to drive my Hyundai Accent to Whole Foods. I said, no.
I said, no. You can do it right from the comfort of your very own home, or wherever, you know. And he said, okay, tell me how.
I said, just go to LouisvilleVeganFoods.com. Use the code word Poundcast and get 20% off your entire order. It's not a big deal.
He said, 20% off? I'm basically making money. It's like, I don't even know if I need to sell cars anymore.
He said, I make so much money selling these cars across the world. These award-winning cars. And I said,
award-winning.
They're not that cool. I'm like, I guess, you know, they're fine.
He said, you know what? I'm dropping it.
I said, look, I'll be honest. They have a good powertrain warranty.
He said this, you know what? I'm changing my business. I'm changing today. Hold on. Let me ask you a couple questions first before I change my business. Is the stuff, and I'm in Japan, is that stuff handbagging in the United States of America?
He's in Korea, I think, but
I mean, he's in Korea. I mean, he's in Japan. The car is Korean. The car is Korean. He's in Japan.
right. He just happened to be in Japan.
The bags are, they're back.
I said
the
yes,
jerky's,
of course. Yeah. He knows the drill. I said yes, they're handbagged in the USA.
he said, what about this? How long does the stuff last?
Because I remember he was saying, I'm going to take a boat to the United States and I'm going to spend some time there. I said, how many months are you going to be here? He said, 9 months. I said, the day you get off the boat and go to and order it or go to a Whole Foods, they're going to be, it's going to be, the shelf life is 9 months, basically the bottom line.
Hey, he goes, I'm changing my business. You've convinced me. I will know I'm getting out of the car selling business and I'm getting into the vegan jerky buying business. I will be in the business of buying and consuming vegan jerky made by specifically Louisville Vegan Foods. And he said, and then he started saying that I love eating just to give you a little taste of the kind of business I'm going to be getting into. Let me describe for you all the different flavors I'm going to be consuming as part of my new business model. Perfect pepperoni, Carolina barbecue, gochujang. Is that all right?
Yeah.
And he said, that's very near and dear to me as somebody who, is from Korea but lives in Japan now. And, it kind of reminds me of
I know you froze up there, but I know what you were going for. You remember when he said, now, is there any new flavors available on their website?
No, this is what, okay.
I said, yes, small batch Kansas City barbecue. Of course, they have that. They have small batch Queer Kentucky cherry chipotle.
What I said was, and what he said was, before he froze up, was, I like gochujang. Is it called? What is it called? Gochujang.
Let me look at this up here.
Gochujang.
Gochujang.
Gochujang. He said, what is it called? Because he said, I love that flavor because I'm stuck in Japan and my homeland is Korea, and so it reminds me of my homeland, and I like that.
That happens to be a Korean flavor.
That's what I'm saying, is that it reminds me.
Gochujang or red chili paste is a savory, sweet, and spicy fermented condiment popular in Korean cooking.
That's what I'm saying, is that he's trapped in Japan and he wants that taste of home.
So it's a win-win for him. All he had to do is go to LouisvilleVeganFoods.com, use the code word Poundcast, and he got 20% off. And it's a home run.
And he also said this at the end of the conversation. And one last thing, Doug, just so you know.
Yes, one last
even
thing.
though I'm not in the business of this anymore.
This is the longest ad we've ever done.
It's pronounced Hyundai. Later.
And then I felt like an idiot because we don't know how to pronounce anything here.
Actually, it's probably Hyundai. Hyundai.
Yeah, let's.
Who knows?
You know what? If you know how to pronounce if you know how to pronounce that car company, get on our Discord because we have a Discord and that'll be in the show link.
Yeah,
that's a good place. That's a good place to send us questions that and topics to talk about on the show. And speaking of social media, like I said earlier, if you want to get access to bonus episodes and further and support us, just sign up for our Patreon. Our Patreon is of great value. And you get access to the After Dark episode. So you don't want to pass it up. Get on there. Simple as that, right, Brent?
Perfect. Perfect pepperoni.
All right, let's get on with the show. But you know what I'm going to do?
There's a YouTube channel also, the Poundcast.
Right. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/the Poundcast.
We got Instagram,
and Twitter. you can see all of Brent's funny faces. And on this episode, Brent was having some, which you've seen already. He freezes up once in a while.
Yeah, it was.
But it's pretty funny.
It wasn't even once in a while. Near the end of the main episode, and then a lot during the After Dark episode, just there was some kind of surge. Everybody was using the internet, I guess, or something. I don't know what was happening, but
They were
stuff
all
was-
downloading their NFTs.
right, exactly. It was
Oh my God, you just did it again.
maybe there was
See?
some sort of
Yeah. So look, before you
Hot
freeze up
hour.
again, let's get on with the show.
Yeah.
And Brent, do you have anything else to announce? You do a show on Twitch on Saturdays. You want to talk about?
Oh, I do. I play old games on. I just do one game every Saturday at 6 p.m. Pacific time on Twitch. Brent Weinbach Games. If you guys want to see that, I try to make jokes while I play the game, and sometimes it's hard during the more difficult parts that need more concentration. I'm not able to talk as much, but I try to make jokes throughout. You know?
I would like to say that I just assume everyone knows this, but I do a very popular show on Thursdays called Office Hours Live with Tim Heidecker that I do with Tim and Vic Berger. That's every Thursday at 10 a.m. on YouTube, youtube.com/Tim Heidecker. For those who don't, maybe some of you don't know that, but you know, check that out too. And I do have a Patreon of my own, patreon.com/DougPound. And I have a new one of my groups, the 3-year-olds that I do with Spencer Goldman, Sir Spence. We just released a new single, March of the Ding Dings. It is out now on Spotify. I guess I could look. Maybe it might be on iTunes. It should be on iTunes by the time this is out. And the video might be out too. We have an amazing video that was made by Christopher Rutledge. He is friends with Cole Cush, and it's this amazing 3D animated video. Anyway, Machinedrum did a remix. So basically, Spencer and I made this song, March of the Ding Dings, and then we had our friends remix it. And I think we have 12 remixes. So go to Spotify, look for the 3-year-olds, the numeral 3-year-olds, March of the Ding Dings. You can't miss it. Check it out. And check out Machinedrum's. And like right now, we're going to play a little bit of Machinedrum's remix of that song. And then we'll get on with the interview with Travis, a.k.a. Machinedrum. Brent, anything else?
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right. All right, let's roll the clip.
I missed the
You didn't do
roll
the
the
turn.
clip because it was frozen. But I mean, whatever. Just imagine that I did. I didn't actually do it, but just imagine that I did.
Yeah. All
I mean,
right. All right. Well, you just froze again. So
roll the clip. Roll the damn clip.
roll the
Let's go.
clip. Roll the clip.
Roll
See
the
ya.
clip. Roll the clip.
Oh, I just burped. And what? I think I didn't catch that on tape, but we are live with, well, not really live, but we are recording with Machinedrum, aka Travis Stewart. And yeah, I guess we were wondering what should we call you before I started rolling, and you said we can call you whatever we want. So that's kind of cool.
You said we can combine the names, in fact.
Yeah, combine them. Just have fun with it, you know?
So we could say something like Machinvis.
That works. That's in the list.
I did
Also,
have
you could just like combine all the letters like to make an anagram, and I'll probably figure out that you're talking about me.
Oh, here's how it goes. Actually, it's Trevine.
Strum?
Yes, Stum.
Stew.
Trevine Stum. That's it.
Trevine Stum.
I'm all about
Trevine
it.
Stum.
You guys are making me like rethink my whole thing.
Or
Like-
you can even go with Machinvis Druart. There.
Okay. Well, now that we
Okay.
got that out of the way,
Couple
Yeah.
options.
I have to get a really awkward, dumb question out of the way.
Oh, please.
Now, are you named after the Electron Machinedrum piece of gear?
No, I do get asked that a lot.
It's probably a stupid question. I just had to get it out of the way.
It's not. I mean, I get why people would ask that. Yeah, it's I guess a funny story. I've been using the name since like high school, like which late 90s.
Travis or Machinedrum?
Machinedrum.
I know.
Yeah, I'm mixed. You know, like I've been using all forms of Machinvis, Trevine. What was it? Strum.
Something like that. You can
Yeah.
just shorten all of those to just Bob.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I've been using all of those names since high school. I and I hadn't really released any music yet, but I started to play some shows, and one of my friends pointed out. Oh, actually, it was when I was trying to register Machinedrum.com. Electron, the makers of the Machinedrum, had a placeholder site saying coming in 2003 or something, or 2002. It was like years away at this point. The Electron Machinedrum from the makers of the Sid Station, and they even had like merch. So one of my friends bought the shirt to like troll me, and it like had their logo and everything, and she like wore it to my show.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, how did the name come about then? It was just drum machine just flipped.
There
or
you
something?
go. It was like a cool high school idea, man.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, even if you were named after the gear, that's kind of a cool thing that people have done. I think Aphex Twin is named after something, right? Like a piece of gear.
Yeah, there's Aphex, there's like a whole Aphex. Yeah, like I believe they make amps, maybe, or I can't remember. I know they make like some outboard gear, kind of like rack mount stuff.
Yeah, and then there was a group called Panasonic. Remember that?
Oh yeah, and then they had to remove the A because they're getting sued by Panasonic, so they changed it to Pansonic. But then they made an album called A, and it said Pan, and they put the A down.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like a lot lower. It was just like barely low, and in a slightly different color than the rest of the letters, so it still said Panasonic.
While we're on the topic, the other day I watched the Biggie Smalls documentary.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
No, not yet.
It's kind of a new thing on Netflix. But there's this part that I could not believe. He was originally called Biggie Smalls, right? And then he changed his name to Notorious B.I.G.
Yeah.
And I thought he was just flipping up his name, like rappers do, like Puff Daddy switched to P. Diddy, and he was working with Puff Daddy. Anyway, he switched it because there was another rapper called Biggie Smalls.
No way.
Really?
And you got to see this guy. He is this like white boy rapper, and he was from LA, but he spelled it a little different, like Biggy Smalls with a Z.
Of course.
But he had already like, you can look him up on YouTube. There's videos. He has like videos of him rapping with, like, he's in a convertible, and it turns out he was like he was friends with Tupac, or he was like in the Tupac because
In the
or
Tupac
something.
crew.
like a circle.
He was in the Tupac crew.
He was in the Tupac circle,
Tupac crew.
and now here's a
Tupac
crazy conspiracy theory that I don't know if anyone ever explored. Maybe this Biggie Smalls is
I know
involved.
where you're going. I know where you're going.
You know
with
where I'm
this.
going?
Yes.
Is what?
No one's looking into it.
Yeah. So
Biggie was shot.
The original Biggie and Tupac connection, like West Coast versus East Coast, like that's where it started.
Right. The whole thing is really sad because like Tupac got shot in New York going into like a recording studio, and then Tupac thought it was because Biggie's crew did it. And then Biggie's
Right.
like, I didn't have it. That was just a robbery. I didn't have anything to do with it. And then he got murdered. Anyway, it's all sad, but
And are you talking about the sort of philosopher Tupac Chopra or somebody else?
Tupac Chopra.
I don't know. Just thought I'd throw that out
All
there.
right. I just had to get that out there because I just couldn't believe that there was this other guy called Biggie Smalls. And, you know, he was not popular, but he has videos out there, and he was.
How are they? How's his music?
It wasn't like that bad, really. I mean, I kind of just played it. It's very dated, you know, it's like early 90s kind of stuff, I think.
Yeah, it would have had to been.
But it wasn't like Vanilla Ice level white boy, like lame
I mean,
stuff.
if he's friends with Tupac, it had to be halfway decent.
Yeah, it was actually halfway decent. But if you see, he's just like this teenage blonde-haired like kid, you know.
That's so wild.
It's just wild, yeah. And he's not big. He's a skinny like teenage white boy. So the fact that he was even called Biggie Smalls was such a funny name.
Wow.
Well, maybe he was big for a small guy.
Well, yeah, maybe he's thinking about maybe he's leaning into the small part. I don't know.
Well, or maybe he's saying that his smallness is big.
Well, he should be called
Like
like
he's proud of being small.
Yeah,
Smalley Biggs. He should have been called.
Smalley Biggs.
Huge small.
My sister was friends with a girl whose last name was Biggs, and then you got the Jason Biggs from American Pie. So there's a lot of Biggs out there. They might have had to change their names. If he went by Smalley Biggs, then Jason Biggs might have had to change his name because there was another Biggs out there. Yeah,
That's right.
It makes you think,
Makes you think. I don't know.
Jason might have had to change his name to Jason Smalls, but then Biggie Smalls might have thought, "Oh, I don't like that." He would have had to change his name to Notorious B.I.G. anyway, I guess.
All right, let's get back to Machinedrum here. So, I scanned your Wikipedia.
Oh shit.
You come from a musical family, it seems like.
It's true.
And for those people who don't know, I'm going to play a snippet of one of your songs at the top of the show so they'll get a taste of. I mean, I did post that you were going to be here on our Discord, and
Cool.
a lot of people are stoked, and they did send in some questions.
Nice.
Nice,
You're
baby.
You're gonna read the Wikipedia now.
Let's just read it from the top. Let's go from the top here.
What are the cliff notes? What are the highlights? Let's get the highlights from the Wikipedia.
Okay.
I'm actually this is good timing because I recently realized that the Wikipedia was incredibly out of date, and I had to I didn't realize also how easy it is to just change it like yourself, just to go in. And so I updated it myself. I mean, I should have known because my brother trolled on me and left something on there saying hugely inspired by Wesley Snipes. Just like, and it was like he luckily he didn't put it as the first thing, but it was like tucked away in there, like for anyone that was actually reading.
There's
You know
a lot of
weird? What's weird
Oh.
is like I have a Wikipedia, and yeah, there was a lot of weird misinformation, or just like the stuff that they chose to list is like, it doesn't matter, but
you can't trust Wikipedia. There's a
you
lot of
can't
wrong
trust it.
stuff. You can
And
get an
there-
idea. You can
There
get
was
an
actually
idea.
real quick. There was a information about it was like Doug does the Poundcast, and he had guests such as, and they would list some of the guests we've had, notable guests, and it would also say Rick Springfield. So I don't know how Rick Springfield even got in on bios when I would do shows. They would copy and paste it.
Really?
Like part of his podcast, Mac DeMarco, Ariel Pink, and Natasha Leggero, and Rick Springfield. Like, I don't know how that slipped in.
That's interesting. Well,
Never had
look,
Rick Springfield.
Wikipedia has got a lot of wrong information. Don't trust it.
I love it when
see-
people reference Wikipedia, like on Twitter arguments. They're like, "Yeah, but check this out," and it's a
Right.
Wikipedia article.
I mean, look, there is some factual information on Wikipedia, but you
course.
just nothing on the internet is bona fide.
I mean, mostly it's pretty solid reference.
It
It
is.
depends what you're talking about, because there'll be like current cultural events that are like happening in the moment that there's a Wikipedia article for, and it's like being updated constantly, and people like those you have to take with a grain of salt, of course, but the ones that are like about historical figures, it's like we can give them a pass, I think.
Yeah. The more historical, the more you gotta. I mean, where else are we gonna go? You got to have something that you can count. It's not like it's Fox News or something.
Look, you know what? Taking into consideration, but also question everything.
They should be a Foxpedia and a CNNpedia. So if like you want to learn about history
from a different angle,
and make it kind of
lens
through your lens of your worldview, you can go to these other. You know what I mean?
That's a really good idea.
You go to Foxpedia and you learn about Abraham Lincoln. Then he definitely he was Republican, right? And he freed the slaves, but they won't leave out any of they'll leave out the nuance,
right? Everything that happened in between.
I think he was Republican though, because I think it meant something different back then. But
yeah,
but
that's what they would leave out,
right? That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, they would leave out that little detail,
right? That's a really funny idea. Is since information is so amorphous, I don't know, or it's so malleable, on the internet, might as well embrace that and have history through a lens, whichever lens you prefer. If you prefer to see a more conservative, if you want a more conservative interpretation of information, then check out that site.
I mean, that's pretty much what's happening, right? Already.
Well, actually,
but you're saying
right.
like with the Wikipedia version of this,
it exists. You're right. It exists already through these different news sources, right?
Yeah,
that's interesting.
But if you made like actual history books and like you split up your classes, like, okay, so today we're going to learn Fox history,
right?
Tomorrow we're going to compare it to CNN history. And we're going to have a discussion about it, and you're going to write a report on it.
Actually, this is pretty cool. This is pretty productive.
You know how there's Snopes, Brent?
Yeah.
And Travis, what if there's also Snipes? Where like you learn what Wesley Snipes thinks, what the truth is about a certain. They check in with him.
Tying in my biggest influence.
Sorry, Brent.
And if you and Travis end up learning a lot from snipes.com, then your brother's thing will actually be true. You can put it back into your Wikipedia article.
Yeah.
By the way, what does your brother do?
He is a pastor of a sort of, like an evangelical church in Maine.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And is he into your music?
He is. And the same guy got me into like Godspeed You Black Emperor, David Lynch, Hunter S. Thompson, like back in high school. He was like into like the craziest stuff, and then like he had a born again moment.
Really?
Maybe like 5 years ago. Yeah, it's wild.
Go first, Brent.
I thought we were holding up our hands.
I was. Yeah.
Oh, it's a moment of prayer. If we don't know.
I really thought like, are we like,
amen?
Me and Brent do this because we talk over each other, and we on Zoom we have to be like, I got a question. I got to ask you something.
Amen to that.
Okay, yeah, say that every time. Amen to that.
Amen to that. So is your brother? This is really interesting to me. Since his born again moment, is he still into weird and subculture kind of things? And part one.
Yeah, okay.
Part two, did he do the Wesley Snipes thing when he was post born again? Is he still kind of doing little kind of funny antics like that at born again?
Right. That was definitely pre born again, the little trolling Wikipedia moment. But I don't know, like ever since he has had this come to Jesus moment. We haven't been as close. I mean, we've just naturally had some distancing in general over the years, but
Because of COVID-19, you had to distance, and yeah.
well, like maybe like 5 years or
Yeah.
6 years, even more. But I don't know. Yeah.
Ironically, you have a sort of Jesus sort of look, as so it's kind of interesting that the distance kind of came.
That's where I took things. Like I just became Jesus.
Right, you're trying to win him back, actually.
Right.
Because of the distance, because he got into Jesus, you're like, well, okay, maybe I need to start looking more like Jesus. So you start growing the beard and the long hair,
then
and
they'll start calling me.
Oh, okay, you can do this look too. Okay, maybe I am. Let me get back into this whole Snipes business. But is he? What about the stuff like? Is he still into David Lynch? Is he still into stuff like that?
I doubt it. I mean, I know he probably still has respect for it, but I can't imagine him watching it, any of that stuff, or listening to it anymore, because like he's just so busy with I mean, I should also mention he's the director of a halfway house as well, which is a very active job. He's having to and it's all men's home too, so they're constantly like having men come in and out of the home, and he's having to like break up fights and do all kinds of stuff to like just make sure like everything's staying somewhat peaceful there, and like that people are staying on track, and they're also like it's integrated into the church. So I can't imagine him sitting down and watching Eraserhead in the middle of all of this.
Well, my follow-up question is, if he's the director of a halfway house, is his directing inspired by David Lynch?
That would be cool. Yeah, like that's
he makes
one
the halfway
way
house all weird, and he has like
it's
a
surreal.
red room in the back.
There's a red room. There's one of the rooms that has red curtains in it.
Right.
And like, and then everyone kind of has to talk backwards and stuff in there. But
right.
There's something like that, or make it sound like they're talking backwards.
Right. And then the radiator is singing like Christian hymns.
So, okay.
Wait, can you guys talk backwards? Do you know how to do that to make it sound like you talk backwards and it's being played forwards?
Yes.
Oh, that's good. That sounds good. Now, can you make it?
Yeah, the talking about yes.
But no, can you make it sound like
Croatian?
Can you make
tell
it
me
sound
what
like,
to say, and I'll say it backwards.
Say, "Hi, my name is Doug," but say it as if you said it backwards and it's being played back in reverse, so that it's.
Oh. Yeah. Hi, my name is Doug.
But you got to do breath though in it. You got to go. Hi, my name is Doug.
Okay, so you're not actually saying the whole thing backwards.
So you say it back. So what it sounds like when you say it backwards, you play it forwards.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, my name is Doug. Good.
Hello. How are you?
I am
right. That's good. That's good. That was really good. That was good.
That's like I'm yelling into some small room or something.
I used to have this little toy that you could talk into it and it would play backwards. It was just like a little digital, like battery powered toy. I think it made your voice low, but it did a reverse. And I figured out if you say slippin' nipples, it'll sound exactly the same forward and backwards. Slippin' nipples.
Palindrome.
That's cool. Slippin' nipples. That's cool.
I think I even have an app. Let me see if I have the app.
That's pretty cool. Slippin' nipples. Yeah.
Yeah, slippin' nipples. That's cool.
That would be cool if the way that your brother did his sermons or whatever was sort of, David Lynch style, he's all doing it backwards, or that having that backwards talk.
Well, I mean, he does speak in tongues.
Hey, there you go.
It's wild. So I was watching one of the sermons because they live stream them on Facebook, and my dad sent me a link. He was like, we're so proud of Daniel. And I was watching it, and he actually had some like really great things to say, some things that I agree with in general, just about like, giving into the unknown and being like, the best person you can be and stuff like that. But then like at one point he just starts speaking in tongues, and I was legitimately freaked out.
I know you got the app loaded up. Okay, I just wanted to.
I do have the app loaded up, but we'll go to the app after this because I was wondering, is that something you'd want to sample?
That would be taking things to another level, but maybe.
Can you do? I'm curious about what. Can you do a little bit of an impression of your brother speaking in tongues right now? Just as
I don't know if that would be respectful or
That's
not.
Brent. That's maybe kind of weird.
I just want to hear what that sounds like exactly.
Now, I've seen it, and
pretty much like it's universal. It's weird.
Yeah.
They say a lot of the same things. Like if you watch anyone speaking in tongues like on YouTube, they pretty much all kind of are saying these weird same words.
Okay,
like,
forget your brother. I mean, can you just do an impression of speaking in tongues? Or I just want to hear what it sounds like for this.
I can do it.
Tongues.
Yeah, you do it.
It's like it's kind of like a lot of la-las, nanas, like words like that, right?
Yeah, and then throwing in some praise God, praise Jesus,
Yeah,
in between all.
Yeah. I saw that movie Minari. Did you guys see that movie Minari at all?
Mm-mm.
No, is it good?
I thought it was pretty good. And there's a character in it who I think speaks in tongues a little bit.
All right, I'm gonna do this backwards slip and nipples thing. Let's
Okay.
try it. Slip and nipples. Oh wait, I did it wrong. Slip and nipples. Sorry. Oh great, it doesn't work now. Slip and nipples. Man, why doesn't it work?
I'm gonna write out a sentence right now, and I'm gonna try to make it work. You know, I'm gonna say it backwards, and then when you play it forwards, it's gonna say something. You know?
Okay.
So you think about that while you carry on here.
So like at the end of like a Beatles record or whatever, Paul is dead kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, kind of a thing. Yeah. I want to know more about. Oh, he's trying to do one now. Well, anyway, have you
make this work?
Okay, it's kind of working now. Hold up.
I want him to make it work. I'm curious if
nipples.
Curious if this actually works.
Do you so have you been to one in person? One of his
Flippin' nipples.
No, I haven't. Yeah, he lives in Maine. I still haven't visited him since he moved to Maine from North Carolina, which is where I'm originally from. My family's from. Yeah, he moved there about 5 years ago, so I still haven't been up to see him.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Is it a big church?
It's not that big. I mean, he lives in a fairly small town in Maine, so it's a small congregation, but they have huge video screens and like a full band and all of that. So they've got like some things going for them, I guess.
Slippin' nipples.
Slippin' nipples.
Slippin' nipples.
Interesting.
I mean,
That's
it
interesting.
still sounds weird, but it's pretty close.
Interesting. That's interesting.
Did you want to do one, Brett?
I'm gonna write one out and then we'll do it in a second. But
Okay.
Carry on and then we'll.
Okay. Well, I don't mean to spend this whole hour talking about your brother, but
It's fine. I hope he watches this.
Did he have some kind of like extreme life event that had changed his life to the G? Because I was actually a born again Christian in high school, but I didn't I just went to summer camp and I just went along with it. But
right.
I'm just wondering, as an adult, like, did he have some kind of event that changed his life like that?
Yeah. I can say yes, he did.
Oh, really? Oh, you're not allowed to say though what it is?
Yeah, I'd rather not get into that.
Got it.
But I mean, I will say that his current path, like I'm fully accepting of it, even though it is a bit shocking to say the least. Just based off of what I know about him and growing up together and everything. But he is like a different person, but a better person, I would say. He's definitely very thoughtful. He has he's married now and has a son, and he's like a great dad. And he's just it's just strange because he's like, it's almost like a different person. And so I feel like I don't even really know him that well.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that from my experience, I don't think Christianity, I mean, I don't believe in the theology of it all, but I think it can be as long as you don't use it to judge or impose on anyone else's life, it could be a positive way to live. I mean, you could it kept me out of trouble, I guess, when I was doing it. So, it could be a positive thing for sure.
Right. Just having some sort of accountability to
Yeah.
a higher power.
Okay,
Brett,
real
yes.
quick. Let me hit you with this sentence real quick. Okay, get ready to record me.
Okay, hold up. Hold it to the speaker here. Ready?
Yeah.
I'll in 3, 2.
Tanerb, Maine is sorry, I messed up. Do it again one more time.
3, 2, 1.
Tanerb, Maine Z I'm Oleha.
Hello, he's name Brent.
Wait, it wasn't.
Hello, my name is Brent.
Yeah, but it didn't quite work. I guess I didn't get it right.
Okay, one more try. 3.
So you got 75% of it right.
Okay, ready? One more.
Wait. Why did I mess this up? Wait, hello? I know why. Here, I got it. Hello? I got it. Here we go. Ready? Go ahead.
3, 2, 1.
Tanerb, Z, Main, I'm, Oleha.
You got to add those.
I think it's going to do that.
Hello, my name is Brent.
I think I know exactly what to do. Next time I got to say, okay, one last time. I think I got it this time. Watch.
All I can hear is Brent.
Watch.
I heard it.
But the hello is like,
I know. I gotta get it.
Hello.
you're
I'm gonna
going
get it right.
aloha. It's something.
I'm gonna
about
get it.
that
I'm gonna
doesn't
get
work.
it. I'm gonna get it. Watch this.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Tanerb, Z, Main, I'm, Oleha.
You say ole ha. It's
like, oh,
ole.
here we go.
Ole.
Hello, my name is Brent.
Whatever.
Brent.
Whatever.
I mean, it's definitely a skill worth like improving on.
Well, the guy David Lynch worked with. There was a guy who knew how to do that. He was really good at talking backwards, and so he showed the actors how to speak backwards so that it would work.
Is that true?
Yeah, something like that. That's how they did it. They had to say the lines backwards. And then
Right. Let's switch gears here. I want to ask Travis about. So, okay, I am looking at Wikipedia, but just to refresh my memory, you're from North Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
correct?
Yes.
What part of North Carolina?
I was born in Eden, North Carolina, but I was only there for like until I was 3 or 4, I think, and moved to Walkertown, and then spent most of my youth in Hickory.
And you played like I did in high school in the high school band?
Yeah, I played in the jazz band and in marching band.
So did I. But
so did I, by the way.
You got to play.
Really?
You got to play drums though.
I played marching snare, and then in jazz band I played bass. I wanted to play guitar, but they already had a guitarist, and they needed a bassist. So I was like, I guess I'll learn how to play bass. But I ended up really appreciating it because I mean you can see I have bass up there. I love playing now.
Do you
it's
have a
good
jazz?
experience.
Did you take jazz lessons?
No, I mean that would have been it. Just being
Mhm.
in jazz band, learning all the music and learning how to play by ear, which it was kind of how I learned how to play music in general. Like I grew up with a piano in the house, and I didn't learn how to read music until way later, like probably sometime in high school. But having the piano in the house, I developed my ear training pretty early on. Like I would hear a song and like try to figure it out on the piano or whatever. But being in jazz band definitely enhanced that aspect.
Yeah,
What did you play?
I played the cornet and then the trumpet, which is kind of the same instrument, but
We always got along with the trumpet players, like in jazz band and in marching band. Like for some reason, the percussion line and the trumpet players like were the badasses, where everybody else like wasn't.
yeah, because we're kind of in the back because we're the loudest, I think.
Yep.
You know how they form it?
That
So,
may have
like,
had something to do with it too. We're like right next to each other.
yeah, but also we're kind of cooler.
Yeah,
I wanted to do drums, but my parents were like, he can play an instrument, but no drums, you know? And then the sax just looked just not appealing. I don't know, something about the shape of it. I was like, I
it
can't play
looks
that.
intimidating.
You don't like those
the
curves?
trumpet has 3 buttons. You're like, I can do that.
Three
Right.
buttons.
Saxophone
Yeah.
has a lot of valves and buttons, but it's also got that. Well, I mean, not a soprano one, but the other ones have the curve to it. You know, it looks like sensual. You know what I mean? It looks like the curve of a
Voluptuous.
I didn't
waist.
like all those little doohickeys and like rods. It looked like a Star Wars ship or something, you know. I like the simplicity of the trumpet. Plus, like touching your mouth to a piece of wood, like the reed. I was like, I'd rather blow into a brass circle.
Then you're vibrating your lips, whereas that you're vibrating the reed, which to me is a little easier actually. Well, look, check this out. It's like this. For me, I was briefly in marching band. I played.
What did you
bass
play,
drum,
Brent?
bass drum.
Sick.
That's the easiest one of all time. Dong,
Yeah.
dong, dong.
Yeah.
You'd be
Gotta admit.
surprised. There
Gotta
takes
admit.
so much coordination, like having to play like in between all the
Syncopate. I
beats.
got to do the syncopated scene. Como va? Dun 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 dun. We played como va. And then in jazz band I played piano, of course. I mean that's my main instrument. But I was very allured by the saxophone because of Stan Getz, and I thought the saxophone sounded cool and sexy, and so I did get a saxophone, and I kind of learned how to play that a little bit too, but I didn't, not on the level that I played piano and guitar, but yeah, so like saxophone though, I thought it was kind of cool, and I think easier on the lips too.
Yeah, you're not having to go the whole time.
Exactly, yeah, because that seems irritating to just vibrate your lips like that.
The few times I did try to play the trumpet, I was like, how do you guys do this all day long?
I know
My
it
lips
seems
hurt.
It seems like your lips would go numb.
But I guess you
whereas-
could say the same thing for like guitar, like your fingers getting like
but
calloused. and
your
everything.
lips though, and then I mean, I'd rather just put my lips on the wood, vibrate that.
Oh yeah, that's a drop
Well,
right there.
Yeah, they did. When you first learn, it sounds like your tone is just super fuzzy. It's like it sounds like crap. You have to build up your lip. You have to. That's what they call it, or like your
You need
lip.
those
You need to
strong
like
lips.
strengthen your lip.
Strong
And then you
lips.
can hit the higher and higher notes. So the trumpet players have strong lips. So when they kiss girls, the girls are like, "Ooh, you're so much muscle."
I think it hurts
So
their
muscular.
it hurts girls' lips.
They're like, "Ow!"
You're like, ow.
They're like,
He's like, oh, sorry
wanna
about
kiss a
that. I
man
don't
with
know my
a
own strength.
yeah, with
So
soft.
they don't get calloused; they just get muscular.
Yeah, they get buffed out lips.
Yeah, they
swole
don't
lips.
get callous.
swole.
They get muscular.
They
They're not
lips on
swollen; they're swole.
lips on swole.
Yeah, then if you play like Dizzy Gillespie, you can get those big ass cheeks too.
That's actually the wrong way to play, by the way.
I
You're
know.
not
Whenever
suppo-
I would see him, I would be like, "How can he do that? That looks so painful."
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
I know.
Tell Dizzy that.
Well, tell him that he's like one of the top trumpeteers of all time.
Hey, who knows? Earl Garner, he's an amazing pianist and didn't know how to read a single note of music.
There's no really right or wrong way. I mean, I've seen
People are
recently. I saw somebody play in Africa playing a guitar from the top. Usually you're like kind of like this. That both hands were like reaching over, and they're doing chords like.
I use my thumb when I play, and you're not really supposed to do that, but it was just how I taught myself, and it's kind of a habit that I can't really shake.
Yeah, I mean, that's not that that's if
Hey.
it sounds if it sounds like a song,
whatever
it's not
works.
wrong. You know what I
even
mean?
had
That's
it-
my theory. If it sounds like a song, it's not wrong.
There's no wrong way to eat a Reese's.
Put that on a shirt. Both of those things on the same shirt.
Yeah.
And in fact,
And then on the back of the shirt, have it say Machinedrum equipment or something like that.
I like when
Drum
music
equipment.
when music is made wrong, because then it's like sounds different. When people don't have these rules that everyone else follows, and they
Right.
make music that's why I like electronic music, because if you hear a rock song, it's like guitars, bass, drums, and I like that kind of music too. But electronic music is like so much more interesting because it could sound like anything. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the challenge, really.
Like
is
Travis, do you like
to-
electronic music?
I feel like the answer is yes. Yeah, if I really had to think about it.
Okay, so how did you go from so in high school, you were in rock bands and stuff too, right?
Yeah, I was in a Weezer cover band in high school. We also covered like Smashing Pumpkins and Hum and like some other bands. But and I played in an improvisational jazz band in high school as well. But other than that, the only other band experience that I had was after I finished college. I was living in Orlando, and I was in like probably 6 different noise rock bands, just experimental, crazy kind of punk, DIY, art rock kind of stuff.
In Orlando?
Yeah, it was wild.
Did you guys play at Disney World?
Yes, that's everyone lives in Disney World if you live in Orlando. It's just like the whole city's just around the castle. Yeah.
That would be cool to live there. Anyway, I digress. Sorry.
It is huge, actually, by the way. Disney World is big enough to sort of be a community of sorts,
It's actually a bit outside of Orlando, so I rarely ever went there. I went there when I was a kid, but when I was living in Orlando, I never actually went there, except there was that same crew of like art kids that I would hang out with. One of our things that we would do is, for some reason, there's all of these abandoned amusement parks that are around Disney, that like people that try to come up with like low budget things for people to do that couldn't necessarily afford to go to Disney. And, they would last maybe 5 or 10 years, and then they would close down, but then you just have this like empty shell of an amusement park. So me and my friends would like sneak into those places and, smoke weed and like run around, take pictures and stuff.
That's so cool. Like I never thought about that. Like kind of like bootleg Disney's on the outside. Like can't afford Disney. Check this other.
That's kind of what it was, or is things that weren't necessarily even like Disney. Like one of our favorites was called Splendid China, which was a miniature version of China. But when I say miniature, the Great Wall was probably like 5 or 6 feet tall, so you could climb up on it, and it was probably like wide enough that you could like stand on it and like walk across the entire country of China, and there'd be like mock-ups of palaces and castles and all that stuff. It's like ancient China.
But there's a miniature China in Disney World.
Oh, there you go.
In Epcot Center, there's this area of Epcot Center that has I don't know, something like 20 different countries represented in the area.
It's a
and there's
small world.
what?
Is it? It's a small world. Is that
No,
what-
it's more like Biggie Small World, you know. It's like it is it's an enhanced it is almost like it's a small world, but it's like it is a bigger version in a sense because you have these recreations of these different countries in China's one of them. So
But are they like shrunk down, or are they actual life?
no. I mean, they're
Oh,
just
okay.
it almost feels like the like you're in like a part of China or
Gotcha.
whatever
Got
country it
you.
is.
Yeah, this
But
one you
there's no
felt like you're-
wall.
Yeah, this one you felt like you're a giant walking through
Right.
China.
Right.
It
Yeah.
was-
Yeah. Yeah.
it
So
was-
maybe that's
yeah,
even more like Biggie Smalls China.
exactly.
Okay,
That's what they should have called it.
back to
Reality.
back to reality, back to life. So how did you make the leap from being in bands to doing making electronic music by yourself?
How'd you make the leap from being at Disney World to making electronic music by yourself?
How'd you make that leap?
I mean, it is consecutive. I was at Disney World first before I made electronic music. But I think it really just came down to the fact that like I had friends that were into music and that I would play music with. But even the band that I was in, like this cover band, anytime I would try to say, hey guys, we should actually write our own songs or whatever, and like we would attempt it, and everyone would just get really kind of pissed off and be like, I can't, I like, they didn't want to take direction. They just wanted to cover music and keep it simple. And so it was really a combination of that, and also just I was discovering electronic music. Do you remember MTV's Amp? It was like
It was like late at night. Yeah, like they would play
Yeah.
like the Orb or
yeah, they actually had like an Autechre video on there, Future Sound of London. Remember Atari Teenage Riot was on there, like all kinds of stuff. And you had to wait to the end of the show to see what everything was, because it was like they would blend the videos together kind of like with a weird sort of 3D animation. But then at the end it would scroll up all the artists. So I learned so much about electronic music from that show. That was sort of my gateway. And
That's cool.
yeah, and then I like
It's cool that MTV was helped with music. You know what I mean?
yeah, when it was actually music programming, for sure.
I think it helped with me because I used to watch 120 minutes.
Absolutely.
And
Me
they would
too.
always, I would like watch that religiously, and mostly didn't like anything, but like there was always a couple videos that I thought were really cool. You know, there's always a few good. You kind of like, I miss those days where you had to like earn it, and you had to
Yeah.
like, you know, it was exciting somehow. Like
there wasn't this just like skipping around on a track on Spotify and then like, oh,
Right.
look at this and look at that. I mean, the closest I came to that was there was a site, I believe it was called cdnow.com in the 90s. It was like just a normal kind of site where you could order music online. But they had a feature at the bottom that was just related artists. And at the time, that was such a mind-blowing concept to be like, to see artists you've never heard of that other people bought the same music from. And now it's like we see that all the time. But at that time, you didn't have any other way other than having, my only other experience with that would be going into a record shop, and the record store guy would be like, oh, you like that? You should check this out or whatever.
yeah,
But,
we had a section called alternative and punk or something like that,
Mm.
and I would just go to that section and roll the dice and be like, maybe this
really?
is cool.
Where
And I would
was
just
it?
buy stuff just because it looked like maybe I would like it, and a lot of times it wasn't that good. But once in a while, when you hit a winner, it was kind of fun.
What would you do
Anyway.
with the record when you didn't like it?
I mean, I didn't have a lot of money, so I would like mostly get it. I would tape tapes off. I would copy from my friends, and they had older brothers, and it would filter down that way. But once in a while, I would go and try to buy like stuff, or I don't know.
But whenever you bought the thing and you didn't like it, you just hung on to it, or would you sell it back?
Well, I remember like I used to buy African music at Amoeba, and this isn't that long ago, maybe 12 to 15 years ago when I started like getting into it, and, you know, before Spotify and everything.
Right.
And that kind of music, you wouldn't find it online as much as it is now. So I would just go there and just buy a bunch of CDs, and I would sell them back.
Yeah.
You know, I would take a little bit of a hit,
Yeah.
no big deal, but I would rip them and send them back, sell them back.
Remember those deals where you got? We probably talked about this already, but those, you know, it was $1 for 10 CDs or something like that. Remember that?
I used to do that.
Those
yeah.
Maxwell House kind of, or whatever it was. I don't know.
Was
some
Columbia
kind of,
House?
Columbia House. Yeah. What's up with that? You know.
I used to do that. I think I did that in high school.
I mean, all kids did that. What are they expecting to get? What is Columbia? I guess I don't know. I guess maybe,
no. It was like you get 10 for a dime or whatever, and then you had to still buy at one per month full price for a few months or something like that.
Right. You had to like commit for a year or something like that to.
But you could
it's
cancel,
10
right?
to start off. Yeah.
You could cancel. Just get 10.
I think
free
you could
CDs.
still get away with it, but you were supposed to ostensibly buy at full price beyond there, but people just would like stop paying. But anyway, Travis, I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
What were the artists on AMP that stick out to you that was like your favorite stuff, or like whatever, what got you into it?
Yeah, I mean, I remember seeing the Chris Cunningham video for Heidecker, Second Bad Bible or whatever.
You mean where the robots are like in the pond?
Or it's like security footage of these like weird alien robot kind of things. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like insect looking robots. I feel like they're kind of in water or like in a
something like that.
Yeah,
But
that is so cool, that video.
It was between the video and the music. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, I needed to know more. And I should also say at this point I was pretty big into industrial music as well. I was into like Skinny Puppy, Frontline Assembly, 9 Inch Nails, stuff like that, Ministry. That's kind of actually where it all began. So it was Metallica when I was like in elementary school, and then I discovered metal and decided I love metal, and I would like I had a GI Joe jet that I would pretend was a guitar, and I would put a shirt on my head to pretend it was like long hair, and so I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to be a metalhead. And then I saw the video for Ministry, NWO, New World Order, and then from there I got into industrial, like Skinny Puppy and stuff. And so that's why I think that Heidecker record or video appealed to me, because it was super industrial, really aggressive. Like Atari Teenage Riot was another one that I was like super into at the time. Anything that was like super aggressive, I was like into. And the more soft ambient stuff, I was starting to get into, but not as much. And funny enough, I went to the record store, and I remembered the artist name. I remember it was Heidecker. I didn't know the name of the song or anything. And so I bought an Heidecker album, and I bought Amber, and it's the softest, like prettiest album. And I hated it. And I was like, this isn't the same thing, but I kept it. I didn't actually sell that one back, but eventually I went back and found the right album and became a huge fan. And I was like, I want to make this kind of music too.
Why were you drawn to the aggressive stuff? Was it because you were aggressive at that age, or were you a soft person who wanted to become aggressive?
Before you answer, I'm going to say, though, the answer could be none of the above.
Yeah.
No, in this scenario, you have to pick one of those options.
I mean, I definitely, I was an intense kid for sure, but not like extrovertly. I was more of an introvert that would, I would have like temper tantrums or whatever. I had like really bad ADD and like depression and all of that in high school. And I was just, something about it appealed to me. yeah, I'm not exactly sure why. I mean, it wasn't like like my life was intense by any means.
But you had some sort of something going
Something was
on.
there.
Something
Was there
angsty,
for
maybe something
sure.
angsty as a youth.
Absolutely, and I feel like that was another reason I got into making music, was it definitely felt like an outlet for that kind of pent up energy. Because you know, high school sucked, man. Like,
Right.
I just didn't really. I wasn't vibing with anything that was going on. Like had some friends, but didn't really like relate with like the same kind of music or anything. So I found that was just like a big outlet for me. Yeah.
What were they listening to? Blind Melon or something like that?
um,
No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. Whatever, probably whatever was on the radio. Really, I
Third
think
Eye Blind Melon.
the closest I came to relating with friends about music was probably Daft Punk, um, 9 Inch Nails, Marilyn Manson, maybe. But I wasn't even really into Marilyn Manson.
Marilyn Manson, huh? Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
But,
So, when you started to make electronic music, what were your first tools?
I would use like whatever kind of free software I could get, really. But I did have a Boss Dr. Sample, at SP. I think it was the first one, SP 202. And I had a what's it called, a Yamaha CS1X, but I didn't really use those as much. Didn't really have things configured, and I didn't understand MIDI that well. I was more into um, making music with samples. Even though I loved playing instruments, I liked to kind of sample them and then like treat them as a sample in the music. Um, but eventually, I landed on Impulse Tracker, which is an old school like sample based sequencer. It's like instead of everything going horizontally, it's going vertically, um, and it's data, and you don't even see the waveforms. You're just like plugging in data. You could like watch all kinds of videos of that's how a lot of the old school jungle producers would make their shit. They would use Octamed and these like super like archaic kind of software.
Yeah, my friends in Chicago use that. They're called K-Rad. I don't know if you ever heard of K-Rad.
Yes,
Yeah,
Joe.
I
I know
figure you.
Joe.
Oh, you know Joe.
Yeah.
Nice. He used to be my roommate.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I
Taken?
hung out
No.
with him a few times when I went to Chicago back in the 2000s.
Yeah, those guys used to play, and they would bring their full like PCs with
I
the,
know.
the big monitor, before
Yeah.
flat screens were out, and they were good. They made awesome music.
Yeah.
They
He
made
was
some
I-
music. They did a remix. I did a feature film in like 2001, and they did like a big remix for the final credits of like all these like lines from the movie. They like made it into this big remix. It was really cool.
that's such a small world. That's wild that you were involved with them.
But
Yeah, I remember somehow stumbling on their music online, and I would order their CD, or they would press CDRs or whatever and have their own like graffiti kind of artwork on the CDs.
yeah, they would like stencil it on there or something.
Yeah, it was like stenciled kind of art. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I
And I think
still hear
Joe,
from him every now and then on Prop Man or whatever.
Prop Man, yeah, Joe,
Yeah.
Joe, I think I still check in with Joe once in a while, Prop Man.
Yeah, same.
But speaking of that, the tracker style of software, I feel like that's where like the real good shit is made. I think Aphex probably uses a tracker. I
Yeah.
saw a video. He kind of did like a not really a tutorial, but he was like, there's one video you can watch of him playing back one of his songs, and it's on a tracker.
I saw
And I
that
know
one, yeah.
Max Tundra uses Renoise,
Yep. Yeah. There you go.
and which is a similar kind of thing. Anyway, I should
Yeah,
probably.
Venetian
I should start using a
snares.
track. Do you use a tracker now, or do you use like?
No. I moved over to Ableton probably. It was like a weaning process. I started to play shows in the 2000s, and playing with trackers just wasn't cutting it. Like what I was doing at the time is I had Mod Plug Tracker, which was the one that you could, because Impulse Tracker only opened in DOS. So I would open up 2 instances of Mod Plug Tracker, and you could like use VSTs in it or whatever. So I would like play a whole track and kind of fuck with it with the effects and stuff, and then just press play on the next one. I was like, I got to figure out something different. And I knew like at the time, like earlier versions of Ableton were coming out, and that was kind of like the way to go if you're trying to perform electronic music live. So that was my intro into it. And then eventually I just started becoming more interested in like, okay, how can I actually make a track in this? And what I would do is I would start songs in Impulse Tracker and then export like a 16 bar loop and via stems into Ableton, and then kind of go from there. And then eventually I started starting songs in Ableton, and then adding maybe like a melodic sort of thing, because it has this like really distinct 8-bit kind of sound with the uh because you're not using software synths. You can in Renoise, but in like these older trackers, it's only samples. Like you can't use any effects or anything like that. No VSCs, no synthesizers. So if you wanted to play a melody, you had to like loop a tiny little bit of audio. You know, like you could do the similar thing on the Chaos Pad, you know, when you like take a sound and like make it like super small, and it just
Yeah.
becomes a tone. And then you have that tone, and then you can play it on a keyboard or whatever.
Well, that's cool. So you don't use that method. You just do purely in Ableton these days.
Yeah. I'm super into Ableton.
Okay, so we'll ask a few questions before we go to the After Dark from our Discord.
Cool.
And the first one you kind of already answered. Oh shoot. Which is OG Pound Puppy says, "Oh snap, I saw him live in maybe 2012-13 era. He's crazy talented. My questions: what is your go-to music production setup?" Which I guess you kind of answered, unless you have anything else you would like to add. And do you have any new tools or plugins that you have been loving lately?
Yeah, I'm not a huge plugin guy, but I have been digging. I've been doing a lot of mixing lately, like mixing for other people's projects, like a lot of vocal mixing, and like where people have projects going on, they send me all the stems, and I'm doing the mixing of it. So I've been getting really into Isotopes plugins. Like they have the RX series, which are pretty crazy, just repairing tools, really. Like they have de-essing, deplosive, because like plosives, right? Like whenever you are saying something into a mic and your B's and P's, like
Oh yeah, I
that,
hate that.
that boom sound.
Yeah.
So this one takes all those out.
What's
if
that? What's that one called again?
It's called Isotope RX.
That gets rid of the plosives.
It,
I mean, it softens
it's
the plosives,
yeah, it's called a deplosive.
and deplosive. And is it possible to use that after the fact, after it's been recorded?
Yeah, that's kind of the purpose of
Got it.
the software, is to take any recordings that might have, like it takes out clicks. There's one that's called declick, and then one that's called mouth declick, which is super bizarre. And you can actually audition to hear what it's taking out, and it sounds so freaky. You know, like especially if someone has like a very like, I don't know, like spitty kind of like sound to their voice. I don't know, especially like rappers, like sometimes will have like, you can sort of hear like the saliva like in their mouth, like
Oh,
you know what I'm
that's so
talking about?
gross. Yeah.
That's me. I mean, when I listen to recordings, that I've got a lot, I salivate a lot. You know, I'm drooling.
You can hear the tongues and the cheeks clicking in the back in between.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it gets rid of all of that. So
wow.
Yeah, and
Okay, wait. What's the one called that gets rid of the saliva and stuff like
Brent,
that?
you're not going to use Isotope RX. It's going to be like hundreds of dollars, right? It's
I know.
like,
I'm just curious about are there any consumer level or are there any kind of layman?
why don't you hire
level-
him to click your vocals and he'll remix. He
I just want to know
remixed.
if there's
He just
any
did a
kind
remix
of,
for me. March
What
of
is
the
it?
Ding Dings.
yeah.
the what?
He just did a remix for March of the Ding Dings, a new song that me and Sir Spence put out.
Oh, he did.
Oh yeah, he
that was-
did.
I had so much
Oh,
fun doing
let's
that.
hear that.
Well,
And
maybe
the
we'll play
song
it at the end
plays.
of the show or something.
All right. Well, no, I mean, is it called something though to get rid of the saliva noise?
I mean, that plugin specifically says mouth declick.
Mouth declick, and then okay, and then deplosive is the plugin for the other one, right?
Yeah, there's
Okay,
deplosive.
got
There's declip, which I normally don't have to use, but I literally used it yesterday for the first time because a friend sent me a song he's working on, and the vocals and the bass guitar were recorded too hot, and they have like a bit of distortion on them. I was like, all right, let's see if this thing really works, and it fucking worked. It like got rid of the distortion. I couldn't believe it.
Interesting.
That's
What
amazing.
that's called what? D what?
That
Oh my
one's
God,
called
Brent, come on. We have to move on here.
declip.
Declip. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. But they also have I think the standalone software you can there's a way that you can make acapellas out of songs as well. Like if you it depends how complex the song is. Like but if there's like an instrumental or a section where there's not as much beat going on, it's more clear than when a beat is happening. But there's a way that you can extract vocals from a full song that you downloaded.
That's
Using
amazing
software.
I
because
love that.
I use acapellas all the time when I'm doing office hours.
Yeah.
For drops. And I feel like a lot of those are like somehow they extract it. It's like, how the hell did they do that?
Yeah, but those you can kind of hear like weird artifacts on them, right?
Yeah, they sound a little weird, but it's
Yeah.
still pretty clean.
Yeah, there's a few different softwares out there that can do that. Yeah, it's amazing. It's like anything involving spectral analysis and that's dealing with like spectral sound, I'm super into. Like the Michael Norris plugins are really sick. They just have this really bizarre kind of effect where it's where it's basically just playing with the whole spectrum of the sound rather than it just the entire sound being pumped through an effect. It's like you're playing with like every aspect of the spectrum. I guess that's what it means.
Sorry, this is probably a stupid question, but on some like kind of low level program, would clip fix be kind of similar to declip?
Is there a software that says clip fix?
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
Audacity.
Oh, probably.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean clipping is the term for when you got a hot recording.
Right. All right. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, next question.
I'm available for all your RX.
It's like we're doing
I'm a
like
spokesperson for Isotope now.
it's like you work for Sweetwater and
I'm gonna call you every week.
you're our audio consultant. Yeah, you're gonna call us every week, make sure we
Yeah.
like our product.
How those RX plugins treat you?
Are NFTs going anywhere? That's the question. Do you know about this NFTs thing?
Yeah, honestly, I'm exhausted on it. It seems to be like what all of my friends are talking about. People are very divided on it because of the environmental impact, and then others like arguing against that. And I'm just I'm staying out of it because it's so divisive, and I'm kind of worn out from the divisiveness in general over the past year, especially. So I'm kind of like staying out of all of that for now. I know that there are NFT platforms or whatever that are looking into more sustainable ways of doing the whole NFT thing, but I don't know. I'm gonna wait until like all the chaos kind of settles down a bit.
This seems like the way to go. I'm the same way where like my friends are like just so all over it, and it's like it came out of nowhere, and now it's like this huge thing that they can't stop talking about or something, you know, like
Yeah.
it's just such a huge, yeah, it is exhausting to, it's also like, what is it? How is this a thing?
Yeah, because there's even the
I get
argument
it,
over
but it's like it's too early
like-
to be that into it yet. It's like
Just
has to
take the-
grow like from, you know, I don't know.
Just take the money and run.
Take the money and run.
I think that's what maybe a good portion of people that's their attitude about it.
Yeah, they're all trying to jump on it like it's the next hot Bitcoin thing and cash in while they can.
Yeah,
I get it. I get it. You know, everyone's trying to
Make that
if,
money.
If billionaires want to buy digital art from me, okay.
Okay.
Okay, pay up.
Okay. If you want to buy
If
my,
you
if you
mean-
want to buy my jokes, but okay.
You mean if they want to buy a receipt they own the receipt of your artwork
Right.
that everyone else actually has.
Yeah, if they want to flex that they own the receipt of it, okay.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I saw the craziest thing yesterday that the JPEG or the movie file or whatever that you're buying that you're bidding on is actually embedded in like on a web link, like something like that. Like it's not actually in the blockchain. The receipt is in the blockchain, but the piece itself, like you could just copy the metadata for it and you have it. And it's crazy. Like I don't know. I'm still like wrapping my head around the value of it. I understand there's this like artificial scarcity aspect to it, but I'm just like, I don't know.
Okay, well, I think those are all the questions.
Again, I'm open to the NFT idea. I'm just waiting
Right,
for
right.
the chaos to like die down a bit.
I know it is. It's like a feeding frenzy or something. It's like let's just lean back and chill.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks for being on the show. Do you want to hang out for another little bit for the After Dark section? Totally optional.
We can totally get saucy if you want.
Yeah, I'll hang out. And thanks for having me, guys. Like I'm a huge fan of both of you. I'm just like really excited to be on the show. It's awesome.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks for doing the March of the Ding Dings remix, which is now available on Spotify, maybe on iTunes. I didn't look yet. And the video should be up by the time this podcast comes out. And don't you have something to promote?
I do. Yes. Oh my God. My manager would have been pissed if I didn't say it. No, I got a bit of a scoop for everybody. I've been working on this virtual live show with Daito Manabe, which is this brilliant multidisciplinary artist, video artist. Like he's incredible. You should check out his work. Been working with him on this virtual live show for my album, where we basically filmed it using Azure Connect cameras, which are like, do you know Connect? The Connect cameras. They
KINECT.
I know
Yeah.
Connect 4. Is that the same thing?
I wish. Basically, it's something like Connect 4, but for the Xbox. No, they're that like motion capture thing that comes with the Xbox.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Connect. Yeah. They were it was the they
You
were
can
like
play,
trying to be like the Wii.
Ninja with
It puts
them
you
and
in the
stuff like
virtual
that.
world kind of too.
But they were
Yeah.
trying to be like the Wii, kind of. It was like their version of the Wii, right?
Exactly. So a while back, people figured out, hey, we can actually take these Connects and make like use them to do like create software for them that actually like manipulates the data, like motion capture kind of data, without having to wear the bodysuit or anything like that. And so it actually became kind of a part of a lot of different AV shows for a while. I think even Skrillex had was using it at one point where he would be DJing and behind him was like a big robotic version of him on the screen, but like he would move to the left and it would move like it was following all his motions or whatever. So the newest Connect cameras are they're basically using like the latest in motion cap technology, and we basically brought me into the computer. Like we used multiple angles so that they could like Daito can like zoom in and out and like put me in virtual spaces and like manipulate my face and my whole body if he wants to. And I sent him all the stems and the MIDI from my live set to use as data to process the video. So it's wild. I'm super excited to share it. We're airing it live on April 24th. You can get tickets at machinedrum.net.
Cool.
Yes.
And is that a one-time live event, or would that be like archived or something?
For now, it's one time. We're not sure what we're going to do afterwards because it is a pre-recorded thing. So, but yeah, for now we're doing a one-time event, ticketed kind of thing. We're doing like a t-shirt bundle, all that stuff.
Cool. Well, thank you again, Travis. And for everyone who wants to keep listening to our conversation, just subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/Poundcast. And be sure to go to machinedrum.net. Check out his performance on March 24th.
April 24th.
I'm sorry, April 24th. You're announcing it on the 20th. Anyway, April 24th. And definitely check out March of the Ding Dings Machinedrum remix, which is done in a, what did you call that style?
It's like footwork. Chicago footwork and
Chicago footwork style. Hell yeah.
Um,
And thank you to our interns who help out editing and uploading and social media in our show. Jack Birch, who is El Bircho on Instagram, Jackie Montana, and Chloe Bonilla. Thank you very much, and see you next time on the Poundcast. Unless you're going to keep listening, then we'll see you in 1 second on Poundcast After Dark. Brent, you had something to say?
No, I'm waving. This is a saying bye. I'm waving bye.
I'm in, brother.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
I'm into that.
I'm into that.
I'm into
And
that.
I'm
into
into
that.
that. Yeah.